International flights into the United States reached nightmare levels this weekend. Price hikes, chaotic scheduling, and a crowded hours-long wait once on the ground at DFW Airport. Fox 4's David Santandri spoke to a man who went through all of that only to start a 2-week quarantine at home. David.
Yeah, Clarice, one UTA student thought he was going to have an exciting spring break trip planned over to Spain. Once he got there, he realized that this pandemic is just getting much worse than he thought when he first planned the trip. Now that he's back home, he is being ordered by the CDC, like other people who have traveled to these level 3 countries, to quarantine for 14 days. A UT Arlington student is directed to quarantine for 14 days by the CDC after traveling to Spain.
I decided to go because the CDC hadn't said anything about it.
Sam Dennehy traveled to see his girlfriend in Madrid for spring break.
Lots of people wearing masks. Streets were really empty. Plazas were empty.
President Trump announced a travel ban from Europe while Dennehy was there last week.
I woke up to messages saying, hey, you're trapped in Europe for 30 days. And I was like, oh, well, we need to figure out what that is.
And while he wasn't trapped, as U.S. citizens were allowed to return home, he says it was chaotic.
My mindset pretty quickly shifted to survival mode.
He says the price to change flights home skyrocketed, some to $10,000. He had to wait until his scheduled flight left Saturday.
I think I was up for about 48 hours on my return journey.
Once back in the States, he and other passengers were screened by paramedics while exiting their aircraft. And that was before a 3-hour wait to get through customs at DFW.
It constantly seemed like people were about to just riot.
DFW says federally mandated enhanced procedures led to the delays.
We were all aware that we weren't supposed to be in big crowds, and we were standing in a room with 2,000 people from countries who, somebody in that room probably had it.
Dennehy says he was ready to kiss the ground when he returned to the U.S.
I came pretty close, but then I was like, oh, maybe the ground is corona.
Spain is now under a 2-week state of emergency lockdown. Dennehy feels he got out just in time.
It felt like something out of a movie.
He's hoping to make it out of quarantine without symptoms.
So I've been taking my temperature twice a day since I got back, and it's been normal so far.
The student says he has daily phone checkups with UTA. Now, if you remember, over the weekend it was announced that a different UTA student tested positive for the coronavirus. Details of that case are not being released.